Okay. So like I said, from lesson 1 to now lesson 2, there's been some really good progress in terms of how your hips are moving in terms of the rotational side of things. We're not getting the sort of slide we saw last time, hips going this way. That's a massive positive, okay? So you're rotating better. What we're going to focus on now is, yes, the hips are going to rotate, but we want this left hip here on the there to go almost, it's going towards that blue line, okay? So if we look at this left-hand one as you go back, there's definitely some space created here, but this knee sort of kicks in a little bit. The space in now between that stick as you start off, you're moving in a little bit away. This was the first one to start with. This one's the better one, the after one. So these are your kind of before on the left. So the knee moving a lot, okay? Getting a bit more space away from that red line than we'd ideally want, okay? This right-hand one now as we go back. Yeah, you can see that your hip now, if I zoom in there, pretty much on that red line as you go back. So you've definitely created space from that leg. You see the hip as you go back there, creating space, The knee looks like it's going a bit more towards the camera initially, and then when the body starts rotating, it will start moving round. And now because you're on that left side, you're already back into a good impact position, your left leg on that blue line. You've moved your pelvis, look how much further from there you started and now you've gone over there. So really, really good impact position. And then through to, again, a very good balance follow through. And that's often a good indicator of when you've swung it correctly. You can see now it's just a nice flow and you finish in balance, okay? The practice swings, as we said, you could be making, trying to get that sensation of how your hips are going to move. Using that stick up on the wall there as a feel. You want to try to create space from the right hand hip away from that stick, so you're moving that way. You're getting your left hip to it's moving towards the left. Yeah, exactly. And while you do that, what it will create is a little bit of a spine angle lean. We're not trying to lean over here, but if our hips move correctly, it gives this impression that I'm kind of leaning down that way, yeah? All right? I'm creating that way how my hips move, not by just taking my top half and going ooh, and leaning over there, So the lean is more of a created thing by what the hips do, or the pelvis, how it rotates, as opposed to you taking your top half and going ooh, and just leaning over, okay? And that's the thing, sometimes I think people look at golf swings and see certain movements and go, oh yeah, he's got a bit of a lean with his spine. And they start thinking, oh, I've got to get a lean with my spine. And then you get so far behind the golf ball, you can't get back to it, So it's how the pelvis moves. That's much better movement, as we said. You've moved towards target. Okay, so as you go into the setup there now, as you swing back, you can see you're sort of creating space from the right-hand leg away from where a line would be, and your left hip now is sort of staying in that position to move towards the red line. So yeah, honestly, very, very good swing. It's a good movement there. And I think next session, what we'll probably do, based around maybe how much practice you feel you can get, and again, not sort of like an ultimatum kind of thing, but just,
But then I thought, there's no point in me coming unless I practice.
Exactly, and that is 100%, and that's what I always say. I want people to be honest, exactly. I don't want people to feel they've got to try and force the lessons in. I want to get the most out of each lesson. So lesson 3, we want to try and move on from this to perhaps some different clubs. Once this is sort of slightly more dialed in, it'd be easy to move up to the longer clubs, and we do some other bits and pieces. Okay, what we don't want is, I'll come in for next week, great, and I'm going to practice 3 times between now and then. And then by next week, you haven't had a chance to practice because life gets in the way, and it does, right? And then you force yourself to come along and go, I've done nothing, and then try and sort of fudge through it. Then you think, I'll fudge through lesson 3 and 4, and before you go, I've done the 6, I've actually learned the most from 1 and 2, and the next 4, I've missed out stuff. So, yeah, book them in as and when you can, and when you feel you can get the most out of the practice, okay? So ideally speaking, you want to try and get 1 or 2 sessions as a kind of minimum. If you can get more, great. But yeah, 1 or 2 between the next session. So book it in as you can. And like I said before, if you book it and you go, actually, life's got in the way, just rearrange it. Just push it back a week. Honestly, absolutely fine. You can cancel it within 48 hours yourself. If you go beyond that, just text me, email me, ring me and say, look, I can't make it. If it's like, I've had people and I say, look, I'd rather people say the morning of a lesson. Okay, I'm here most days anyway. So if you had a 4 o'clock lesson, for example, like today 3 o'clock, and you actually said at 9 o'clock, oh, Gareth, I've literally got no practice on the last week. Can we push it back a day or 2? Absolutely fine. And then use that half an hour window you had for the lesson to go and practice. So honestly, please, don't feel you got to try and force it to come along and think, and push yourself, because I want to get the most out of the lessons. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. No, very, very good.